Welcome back to Speak Up and Rise. And welcome to something new. We have finished our first 5 episodes together. We talked about never giving up. We talked about mistakes and growth and dreams and your beautiful voice. And now, we begin a new chapter. We begin to talk about the skills of real communication. And we start with the skill that most people forget. I want to ask you a question. How much time do you spend practicing your listening in English? Most learners study grammar. They memorize vocabulary. They practice speaking. But listening, many people think listening just happens. They think, I will listen when I speak to someone. But here is the truth. Listening is a skill. And like all skills, it must be practiced. Today, we are going to discover the power of listening. We will learn why the greatest communicators in history were not the loudest talkers. They were the deepest listeners. Let's begin with today's 5 vocabulary words. These words are about how we receive and understand language. Say each one with me. Word 1, listen. To pay careful attention to sounds or words. Listen carefully. Word 2, attention. Focusing your mind completely on one thing. Pay attention to the speaker. Word 3, absorb. To take something in fully, like a sponge takes water. When you listen deeply, you absorb the language. Word 4, comprehend. To fully understand the meaning of something. Did you comprehend the lesson today? Word 5, patient. Able to wait or continue without getting frustrated. Be patient with yourself when you don't understand. Excellent. Listen. Attention. Absorb. Comprehend. Patient. 5 words, and together they describe the perfect learner. Now let's go deeper. I want to tell you about one of the greatest leaders in the history of the world. His name was Nelson Mandela. He was the first democratically elected president of South Africa. He spent 27 years in prison for fighting against injustice. And when he walked out, he did not walk out with anger. He walked out with understanding. People who knew Mandela always said the same thing. When Nelson Mandela listened to you, you felt like the only person in the world. He did not look at his phone. He did not think about his next words. He listened with his eyes, with his body, with his full heart. In meetings, Mandela always spoke last. He sat quietly and listened to everyone in the room. He absorbed every word, every emotion, and then, when he finally spoke, his words carried the wisdom of everything he had heard. Mandela said, "If you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new." That is the power of listening. And for language learners, it is 10 times more powerful. Now I want to teach you something very useful. There are 3 levels of listening. And most people, most of the time, only reach level 1. Level 1, passive listening. You hear the words, but your mind is somewhere else. You are thinking about what you will say next. You are checking your phone. You are worrying about your accent. You hear, but you do not truly listen. Most people listen at level 1, especially when speaking in a foreign language because we are nervous and distracted. Level 2, active listening. You focus on the speaker's words. You notice key vocabulary. You follow the main ideas. You ask questions if you don't understand. Your mind is present, not somewhere else. Level 2 is where real learning begins. When you actively listen in English, your brain starts to absorb patterns, rhythms, and natural phrases. You begin to think in English, not just translate. Level 3, deep listening. You listen not just to words, but to meaning, emotion, and intention. You notice how something is said, not just what is said. The speed, the tone, the pauses. This is how children learn their first language. This is how fluency is built. Your goal as an ESL learner: practice level 2 every day. Aim for level 3 when watching English films, podcasts, and conversations. Let me explain something that changed my understanding of language. Have you ever noticed that babies don't speak for a long time? A baby listens for 12 months before it says its first word. It absorbs thousands of hours of language. The rhythm, the sounds, the patterns, the emotions. And then, one day, it speaks. And the words come out with natural rhythm and music. This is not an accident. Speaking is the output. Listening is the input. You cannot have great output without great input. Every hour you spend listening to natural English is an hour your brain is quietly building vocabulary, absorbing grammar patterns, and learning the music of the language. The best language learners in the world are obsessive listeners. They listen in the car, on the bus, before bed. They treat English not as a subject to study, but as a world to live inside. Listening is not passive. It is the most powerful study habit you have. Now, I want to warn you about something that stops many learners from improving their listening. I call it the listening trap. The listening trap. Listening only to things you already understand. Many learners only watch videos at their level. Only listen to slow, simple English. This feels comfortable. But comfort does not create growth. Real listening growth happens in what language scientists call the comprehension zone, where you understand about 70 to 80% of what you hear. The other 20 to 30%. That is where your brain stretches. That is where new words and patterns enter your mind naturally. So from today, I want you to push yourself just a little. Find content that is slightly above your level. And listen with patience, with curiosity, without fear. Now let's study the grammar of today's lesson. Today, we learn the present continuous tense. This tense is perfect for talking about things that are happening right now or ongoing habits. Grammar point 1, present continuous structure. The structure is subject, then am, is, or are, then verb with ing. Positive. I am listening. She is absorbing new vocabulary. We are getting better every day. Negative. I am not giving up. He is not paying attention. Question. Are you listening carefully? Is she improving her English? Key rule. Add ing to the main verb. Listen becomes listening. Improve becomes improving. Absorb becomes absorbing. Grammar point 2. Present continuous for ongoing habits. We also use the present continuous for habits happening in this period of life. Example, I am studying English this year. It means not right this second, but in this period of my life. She is working on her listening skills. We are building our vocabulary every week. He is becoming more confident in English. Use this tense to describe your language learning journey. It is ongoing. Grammar point 3. Useful listening phrases. Now let me give you phrases you can use when you are listening to English and need help. When you don't understand, could you repeat that, please? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you speak more slowly, please? When you want to check understanding, so you mean? If I understand correctly, just to clarify, when you are following along, I see. Right? I understand. That makes sense. Interesting. Tell me more. Using these phrases shows you are an active listener. Native speakers will trust and respect you immediately. Finally, let me give you 5 listening habits that will transform your English if you do them consistently. 1. Listen to English for 15 minutes every morning. Podcast, YouTube video, or radio before your day gets busy. 2. Watch English content with English subtitles, not your language. This trains your ear and eye at the same time. 3. Repeat what you hear out loud. This technique is called shadowing. It builds accent and rhythm naturally. 4. Listen to the same audio twice. First time, get the general meaning. Second time, notice new words and phrases. 5. Write down one new word or phrase you heard today. Just one. Every day. That is 365 new words in 1 year. 15 minutes of deep listening every day equals fluency in 1 to 2 years. I want to tell you something about this channel. Every week, I read your comments. Every challenge you share, every sentence you write, I read them. I think about them. I learn from them because you are not just learning from me. I am learning from you. And that is the gift of listening. It is not one-directional. Real listening creates a conversation. Real listening creates connection. Real listening creates community. This channel is a community of listeners. And the best thing you can do for your English today is listen. Not perfectly, not without confusion, but with attention, with patience, with curiosity. Remember Mandela, who sat quietly in every room and listened before he spoke. His listening made his words powerful. Your listening will make your words powerful too. Listen first. Understand deeply. Speak with wisdom. Here is your challenge for this week. Try habit number 3, shadowing. Listen to any 30 seconds of English audio. Then repeat it out loud, exactly as you hear it. Then write in the comments, I am working on my listening by blank. Example, I am working on my listening by watching one English video every morning. Write your sentence. Use the present continuous. You are practicing grammar and sharing your habit at the same time. What a beautiful episode today, my friends. Let's review. 1. Listening is a skill. It must be practiced, not assumed. 2. There are 3 levels of listening: passive, active, and deep. 3. Listening is the input. Speaking is the output. You need great input for great output. 4. Push yourself into the growth zone. Content that is slightly above your comfort level. 5. Practice 15 minutes of deep listening every single day. And our key sentence for this episode, I am listening, absorbing, and growing every single day. Say it with me. Feel it. Mean it. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. Every like helps more learners find this channel. Please subscribe and ring the bell for a new English and motivation video every week. And share this video with someone you know who is working hard on their English. Tell them, start with your ears before your mouth. Next week, we talk about something incredible: how to think in English. We will learn how to move from translating in your head to actually thinking and dreaming in English. It will change how you experience the language. Until then, listen deeply, listen bravely, and remember, the greatest gift you can give someone is your full attention. Goodbye for now.